Hello and welcome to probably the first long-form video of hopefully many. This one being a review on the Battlefield 6 open beta. Most of these clips will be from the second weekend of the beta, as the first weekend I didn't record anything, but I did do a live stream on it, and if anyone would care to join me for the live streams of these newer games / betas, while I am testing them for the first time before any videos were having to come out, feel free to do so. I will leave a link to my Twitch down in the description of every video from here on out. Now, this game, I was absolutely loving this beta. Right now is just some background gameplay of all the different classes. We'll see Assault with my preferred class setup. This gun is amazing. I absolutely love it. I love the Assault class in general. The gadgets that they had for the beta were surprisingly well balanced for what they were. I think in the long term, they may end up changing some of the things, especially maybe the thermobaric grenade launcher as one of the options as opposed to the impact grenade launcher. The thermobaric is definitely one of my favorite gadgets to use out of the ones that you kind of get to use on the Assault class. The weapon sling is such an interesting addition as well. I've never really thought I would see the ability to have an assault rifle and a shotgun at the same time on a class, or even some of the carbines. If you wanted to run two assault rifles, you basically could. One AK, one M4, anything you really wanted. But I'm not a big fan of being able to use both of these M320s on either gadget spot that you might want. I think they're balanced enough to just have one. The thermobaric is a absolutely devastating area of effect, just point controller. It's so good in rush and breakthrough where people are forced onto points. They can't really do anything about it. You just torch as many of them as you can with the area that you get to use. And if you hit somebody dead on with it, they're guaranteed dead anyway. As far as weaponry goes, I do like most of the assault rifles in class. I think they're all very good. This one, based off of a Galil Ace, is probably the best in class. It has good range, good damage at a lower fire rate, and it's definitely probably my favorite gun to be using if I'm going to be playing Assault. Next up, I believe, is the support gameplay. Support gameplay, you get to have the LMGs or the SMGs. Real quick, I love the overlay as well. The map looks so good. One thing I don't like was in the first weekend, they had in the bottom left the squad mate list like they used to in every other Battlefield, and then for some odd reason, I don't know if it was me or not, I never really figured it out, they didn't have that list anymore. So it was kind of annoying for trying to spawn on certain people, especially if your teammates were stacked up on each other and one was in combat somehow and one wasn't. It made it a pain in the ass to actually try and spawn on the person that you wanted to help your team, or get into that spot where they wanted you to be at to get a spawn beacon down or try and help them out of a pickle. But the support class in this game I feel is very good. I like the addition of a deployable wall for them. I think it actually is very balanced in this because you can take chunks of it off at a time with just normal bullet fire. They're not completely indestructible. You don't have to use any explosives to kill them. Obviously, if you use the explosives, they just go away faster. The defibrillators in this game feel very good. I know it's not really something that you'd think would change too often whenever it comes to a battlefield, is a defibrillator changing, but these ones, I love running around with them. They are effective, they're quick, you can just zap as many people as you can in quick succession if need be, and then they have the full charge where you can get people back up to full health as well. I love just trying to bully people with them on top of it. I think I got one game on the first weekend, I had 27 kills with the defibrillators because I just had so much fun running around Siege of Cairo, hitting everybody around corners that I could. The SMGs I feel work better on support. The LMGs are very good, don't get me wrong, but I like being able to move a lot faster, be able to have those snappy areas, quicker mobility. The MP7 here is definitely my favorite SMG, but in terms of damage, I think the MPX that you could be using as a default one is technically better. I just am in love with the MP7. It's a bullet hose. It has 0 recoil, especially once you get the attachments on it, and it was a lot of fun to just melt people with it. This is DMR gameplay for the Recon class. I honestly don't really know how I feel about the Recon class just yet. I think once the full game comes out, it will definitely get some TLC in between the second weekend and the actual release of the game in, I believe, October. I really, really do not like the DMRs in this game, though. Now this, the SVK, which was in 2042, if anybody watching would remember this gun. I don't remember how well it performed compared to this one, but this one does hit like a truck. It's a 2-shot kill, any part of the body at any distance, which makes it just a completely devastating firearm. I'm not a fan of the recoil and the fire rate on it, though. I understand that that's how they kind of balance it out. You can't really just have something be this powerful and have a fast fire rate, hence why the Mark 14 is faster and does less damage, but I am not a fan of the Mark 14. I do not like it, which we will get into later on. As far as Recon gadgets goes, pretty standard. The spawn beacon, and then they have this motion sensor that they've added. I never really used the motion sensor. I always kind of forgot I had it, especially when I was playing Recon. It was usually on Liberation Peak, where I was sniping, legitimately sniping, so there was never any real reason to have the mobility sensor. This is now the engineer gameplay. This is probably my favorite class to play in the game. I absolutely love playing as the engineer. I love tank hunting with the RPG and the sensor mine. I'm a very big team player when it comes to repairing vehicles for people. I will usually be behind a tank, just trying to keep it as live as best my ability. The RPG's a lot of fun to use. I love what they did with the explosives in this game, especially when it comes to things like tank shells and RPG rounds, where you have to be very, very cautious about how you hit things with it, because if you hit it at the wrong angle, you will get minimal damage, and it will end up just ruining your entire time trying to kill a tank that's sieging any of your points at any given moment. As far as the guns for the engineers goes, I believe it's still SMGs is their technical class-locked weapon. I don't like using the SMGs on it. This G36 that they have in the game is my absolute favorite gun. I love it with a burning passion. This gun is so much fun to use. It gets 40-round fast mags. It has decent range. Once you start spraying and you're moving around, it definitely gets harder to hit things. But when it comes to those close quarters encounters, especially if you're somebody who's played Battlefield a good bit, you're pretty alright with keeping things where they need to be as far as recoil goes. This gun is a perfect all-rounder in my eyes. I love using it. I can't wait to see what they end up adding to it in the full game, attachment-wise, because it probably will be my main gun of choice. Up next, I believe, is my sniper gameplay, which there's not a lot of. I absolutely love sniping in this game. I do think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I'm not good at it. I never really have been, especially when it comes to needing to hit headshots at long ranges to actually get those kills. If I'm playing hardcore, obviously, it's a completely different story. I definitely won't have a complete opinion on the actual sniper rifle itself. I do love this rifle. I think it's very good. The attachments make it a just all-rounding, devastating weapon. The longer barrel on it that increases your range makes it so the gun might as well be hit scan on anybody who's not moving. And the ability to have the straight pulls back as well without them being any sort of like marksman variant or anything like they had in Battlefield 1 or the K31 in Battlefield 5, where it had to be a specific gun that had it, or those perks. It was just an attachment you could put on. Tanking in this game is another thing of mine that I am having a lot of fun with, or had a lot of fun with. The beta's now over. But I did enjoy using the tanks a lot. I think I preferred using this one, the LAV, a lot more than using the Abrams. Not for any specific reason. I guess maybe just because you end up finding yourself fighting a lot more infantry than you do other tanks, unless you're playing on Siege of Cairo or Liberation Peak, where they have both sets of tanks, at least on Conquest. I know on Breakthrough it's different, where you make it to a certain point and one side has a tank, one side doesn't. One side gets more tanks than the other side because of the sector that they're in. So there's a lot of factors on that one. But if I had to choose one that somebody told me I could only use for the beta, it would be the LAV. I did have a lot of fun with it. One thing I loved seeing in this as well is while you were in one of these vehicles, whether it be the Abrams or the LAV, it didn't matter. People were good at their jobs playing engineers. I can't tell you how many times in a Breakthrough game or a Conquest game that being able to hold those points with just 3 or 4 guys running repair tools, keeping you alive the entire time, has actually won me games in this beta, especially on Breakthrough. When you're playing Siege of Cairo, which I don't have any gameplay of because I got tired of playing the map, but when you're playing that map and you get towards the back end where they have the point that's directly under the overpass where people like to do that stupid glitch and jump up top and throw C4 down on top of yourself, it is a genuine pain to keep your armor alive in that area unless you have those engineers who have dedicated just the last 15 minutes to keeping your tank alive. I have had 40-0 games using these tanks because they are so good at what they do, and the people who are behind you with those repair tools are even better at what they're doing. They're committing themselves to keep them alive. Like this teammate right here, they have just come in because I'm on the point with the tank. They see we're capping it. They know we're right outside of the spawn, and they have plenty of people with rockets, as we just saw with that person hiding around the corner there. Their tank is about to come up from the right-hand side out of their spawn any second now, and I have 4 guys who are constantly repairing me, and I don't even need repaired. I am at complete full health right now. They just are so good whenever it comes to actually keeping other tanks alive, their friendly tanks alive, and I hope that that translates into the full game. It's something that I loved seeing, was how many people were dedicating themselves to it. This is by far my ultimate feeling of how this game is going to play if they keep flying the exact way that it is in this beta. I was never good at flying in the older games. It really took me until 2042 to actually kind of get a hold of it, and even that was a bit of a stretch because I was still not good. I'm still not as good as some of the people out there who do these tricks with little birds and can barrel roll in Apaches. I'm not able to do any of that kind of stuff yet, but I'm definitely getting better at it. I'm good at timing my flares to keep myself alive, getting behind obstacles to keep rockets from hitting me or breaking line of sight from these lock-ons. But I love the Apache in this game. It made me so upset that they only had the one map that had it on it. Though I get it, you can't really just have everything on every map. And on the other maps in the game, it really wouldn't have worked. I don't think it was open enough for them to actually be able to have the Apache on it. I was kind of hoping somehow that on Empire State they were going to put it in, but I'm not surprised that they didn't. I would definitely sit and wait for the chopper in this game. I absolutely loved using it. I wanted to use it more. The rocket pods on it, I feel like either need some tweaking or need a bigger blast radius, because there have been a couple times where I've done strafe runs on tanks just like that, and you'll see I only hit 37 somehow out of all of that. I shot, what, 7 rockets at it, only managed to hit 1. I did 4 at that one, only managed to hit 2 somehow. I don't know if it's meant to be like that, if they have some sort of thing in place that stops it, but I hope that it's something that they can kind of figure out. And I'm excited to see what kind of upgrades they'll have on this, if they'll make it as in-depth as what they did in 2042, where you could have 3 or 4 different main cannons as a gunner, or as a pilot, and then your gunner could have maybe 1 or 2 different ones, including the thermals. I would definitely like to see the thermals come back. This next segment is just going to be a bit of weapon testing, kind of going in detail with some of the other weapons. So this was my favorite gun for the assault class, the NVO. I really enjoyed using it. It is probably my favorite gun to use on assault class to actually keep the locked weapon classes. The power of it is very good. I'm kind of strafing here to attempt to show off how much MOA the gun has when you're moving, but it didn't really work in the firing range, especially because there wasn't very many prolonged sprays for the hit markers, just because people aren't moving around. And then back to the G36, like I said, my most favorite gun in the game. I absolutely love this thing. It is a just dream to use. It feels so good. It has good mobility. It has good range, good fire rate, decent enough damage that I'm able to win a lot of gunfights, sometimes even if I don't get the first shot off. So this gun is an all-rounder, just the best to me. This gun, I can't remember what it's called, the M433, I believe. It isn't really my favorite gun in the game. It doesn't have the best range. At medium, it's okay. I definitely don't have it completely maxed out, which is something to keep in mind with a lot of these firearms. A lot of them aren't completely leveled up. So maybe this gun gets a lot better with some of the later attachments in it, but I'm not a big fan of it, so I definitely skipped on it whenever it came to using it on the assault class. Now it goes down to carbines, the M4. This is actually what I would put on my recon class for Iberian Offensive, I believe is the map name. The map from the LAV clip that I had. There is some need for me to use a certain strategy that we will see towards the end of the video here. But I would put this gun on in place of a DMR or a sniper because I wasn't a fan of sniping close quarters and I don't like the DMRs. This is the AK-205, which I think is loosely based off of an AK-12. It definitely has the front handguard for it. This gun is a laser beam. It doesn't have insane damage. It is a 5.45 gun, so that's definitely why it doesn't hit as hard as the NVO does, seeing as it's 7.62. But this gun, even at long ranges, you don't have to worry about anything recoil-wise. I mean, you can just beam people as long as you're not moving. It is a straight laser beam of bullets. It will melt anybody who's doesn't have any cover to get behind. Next gun, the 417. I think they call it an M417 in this one. It's just H&K's 417 308. Definitely one of the better ones. I'm surprised that they actually made it a carbine, being that in most games it usually ends up getting the DMR treatment, but it definitely is a powerhouse. I did enjoy using it for a little bit until I unlocked the G36. Back on the SMGs, the MPX, definitely a good gun. I don't prefer it over the MP7. At range, it might actually be a little bit better than the MP7. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll be able to tell here with some of these farther targets. I don't really remember. The damage on it up close is actually better than the MP7, if I'm not wrong. I think the MP7 caps out at 17. This one seems to be hitting 20 at that close range target. I do like the gun. I just would much rather have the MP7. I'm not sure what it is about it, because as far as I'm able to recall, they pretty much have the same mobility. Now here's the MP7. Okay, maybe I was wrong. It seemed to be about 22. Must just be personal preference then. But I do like this gun. I like the fire rate on it. It is a bullet hose. Obviously at those longer ranges, it's going to be a bit of an issue trying to actually hit some of those things. Even these standing targets gets just annoying to try and hit with these SMGs. Has a little bit of recoil, not a whole lot, but I do love this gun. LMGs in this game were a lot of fun to use. I didn't use them a whole lot. I used this one in the very beginning on my engineer class before switching to the G36 after getting max level. This gun is definitely a beam as far as bullets in a straight line goes. Walking with the LMGs is definitely not recommended. I know why bipods are in the game, because these guns are not meant to be walked and fired. Hip firing, I believe you can get a pretty good build with this gun. You can get the lasers and some of the other attachments that kind of bring that precision and recoil down into a better accuracy for your crosshairs. It's definitely going to be a main contender when the full game comes out. I saw a lot of people using this, but the other gun for the LMG class that they had in the beta was by far the fan favorite, which I honestly have no clue what this gun is even supposed to be. It reminds me of a CZ Bren, but it also reminds me of an M27 IAR at the same time. It seems like sort of a mashup, but I'm not 100% sure what it's meant to truly be. This gun has zero recoil, hits like a truck, and you can just decimate people from across the map with it. Caps out at 20 damage at any range as far as chest shots goes. 4-shot kill at closer ranges, medium to long is 5. Once you get mounted up like this with the bipod, it just is a force to be reckoned with. You can cut down entire hallways with this gun so long as you don't get over pushed while you're reloading. It makes a huge difference. Onto the DMRs. As you can see here, I don't use the M20 or the M39 they call it in this one very much because I fully assumed for it to have a 2-shot headshot kill at this range. Boy, was I wrong. I do not like this gun. I did not think it was fun. I had a buddy that I was playing with who also, in the beginning, said he didn't like it. Whenever he got some attachments for it, said it really opened up the gun. I wasn't willing to force myself to try and use it because I didn't care enough. I was happy with my G36. I even tried to see if I could get one hip fire shot there and couldn't even do that. Mounting up with it might make it okay for actual in-game use. I mean, I know on here it helps a little bit to try and keep your shots on target, at least with the chest shots, but it really didn't help the recoil at all. Maybe with an actual bipod. I'm not even sure if you can put a bipod on it, because I genuinely did not use this gun. I think it was level 2, maybe. This gun, as said, hits like a truck. When you can get those follow-up shots on target, it is a force to be reckoned with at any range. The only thing I might want to see with it is having a one-shot headshot at closer ranges, which I believe we'll see later on when that front target pops back up. Yeah, well, that I think I just straight up missed. But at those closer ranges, those chest shots are 60 as opposed to 50 like normal. And I think the headshot is only 67, maybe 68 at close range. I think I should get one here just to kind of test it out. Nope, I was an idiot and decided hip firing was funny, and then took an entire mag to kill a standing target. The sniper, I already talked about this in the actual sniper clips. I do love this gun. I think it's extremely crispy to get those headshots with. It is a great all-round sniper that they put into the game for the beta reason. I do think that some of the other snipers will probably end up beating it as far as what people will be using. One thing I do love about sniping in this game, I'm so glad that they did this because it hasn't been in since, I think, Battlefield 1. Even in 2042, it was just one gun was sweet spot sniping. I didn't have any clips of it, but I'm so glad that they brought back that range where you can get a one-shot chest shot with the sniper rifles again, like they had in Battlefield 1. One of the best things that they had for Battlefield, and I really hope that it stays relatively the same as it did in the beta, because it was a game changer for medium range sniping as far as a sniper goes for medium. Speaking of snipers, this shotgun, I can almost guarantee you, will be getting nerfed. Albeit, it took me, I think, 6 rounds to kill that far target, but the fact that I was even able to kill it at all with this shotgun should say something. What, 4 rounds for the second to farthest target? I know that these shotguns have a random bolt or a random pellet spread, but they are just absolutely devastating whenever you get that registration on those pellets and they don't go off into the middle of nowhere like they like to do. The pistol in this game, I don't know what I can really say about it. I mean, it's basically just like your crutch gun. I used it on sniping a lot, like we saw in that one clip earlier. It's alright. It's got some decent headshot damage at range when you can actually hit something anyway. I think it does 22, so it's still a 5-shot kill. even at these long ranges, I think it's a 5, no, 7. The close range use of the gun is actually surprisingly well. I think it gets almost 30 damage on a close range headshot, so you can actually 4-tap people with this gun whenever they're close like this. Yeah, 27. As far as the rest of this game goes, I can't wait for this. These are just some clips of some interesting things that happened. It makes for some seriously cinematic moments. 2 jets ramming together, somebody bailing out of their chopper, managing to steal it, and completely switching around who's in it. I hated people in this with this chopper too. Some people need blacklisted from flying this thing. Anybody who gets into a plane or a chopper, flies to the enemy spawn, and bails out of it, you need called and removed from the gene pool. Sorry to say. But some of these things that happened in this beta were so good. I wish I had more clips of it, but for some odd reason, it did not like NVIDIA Instant Replay.
I need bullets.
And here comes what I was talking about with my M4 Recon setup. Was they have finally brought back allowing people to actually use these C4s on vehicles to blow up tanks. I don't know why they ever made it an issue, especially in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. They were so hard to actually do anything with, and some of these games just, they have some of the best situations where Rush was so much fun to play with these bombs. Defending these bombs was so much fun. It was such just a rush of trying to get it figured out, and I cannot wait for the rest of this game to come out in October. I believe this is going to be one of the best Battlefields that we've seen since Battlefield 4.
So I'm just here with them.
That's really it, and we'll see what happens when it comes out.